Well, good morning, Get Wrecked for Recovery crew. I had an amazing night staying at the fire department last night. The lights were left on all night, which was the only bad thing, but other than that, it was great. For some reason, I got really good sleep too. Like, I dreamed all night long. Just out cold type sleep. The mat is working wonderfully to sleep on. So thank you guys again for that. And yeah, just a really good night's sleep. I guess I felt really safe here. I don't know what it was, but I got some good sleep. I'm excited this morning, ready to pedal. And so as you can see, I've already broke up camp. I got up at 6 and it's still dark for an hour, you know. And so unfortunately the light went off right as it was getting, I don't know, maybe 6:30. So I had to pack up most of my things in about an hour of darkness. But it's sunrise now, everything's put up. I'm getting out of here like they requested as early as possible. But I cannot thank Station 53 in New Smyrna, Florida enough for providing me a safe place to sleep last night. Beautiful lighthouse, airport, no motorcycles. It's been a really good night. As soon as I got up this morning, I had to use the restrooms. The fire station doors were shut down. And they told me, you know, that the bay doors may be shut. So I went to the 2 doors on the fire department and, you know, knocked. Nobody came to the doors. And so I went over to the police department because people were starting their shift. And I walked up and like 3 officers were like, can we help you? And I was like, I'm the cyclist. And they were like, don't know anything about a cyclist. And I was like, okay. And so I finally told them the story about Brandon, you know, and letting me stay here last night, and they finally let me into the police department to use the restroom. But on the way in, they were like, "We just had to check it out, man. We've already had 1 trespasser, and so we just wanted to make sure everything was okay." I said, "That was why I stayed here. I did not want to trespass anywhere." Anyway, too cool. So again, I'm super excited. I'm gonna get on the road. You guys will see footage of that shortly. I'm gonna go get some breakfast because I'm super hungry. Anyway, love you guys. See you later. Alright, so I just came back to the same 7-Eleven that I was at yesterday when I was trying to find out where to spend the night last night. And I was standing inside making my cup of coffee, and this lady named Heather walks up. And she's like, "Oh, look at his hair." And I was like, thinking, you know, she can't be talking about me. You know, I'm bald. She's like, "I love your beard. What do you use? What type of conditioners do you use?" I said, "Soap and water." And she said, "That's it?" I said, "Well, yeah, I'm actually riding from Mobile, Alabama to Key West, Florida, and back to raise addiction recovery awareness." And she said, "Oh my gosh, I've got that testimony. I also came through addiction." She said, "And now I'm starting a program for women who have kind of given their bodies over to bring them back hope and to bring them back, you know, security, and to just be able to feel good about themselves again." And she's calling the ministry Grace. And we had a good conversation, and she actually told me about a woman who just passed away recently from addiction. And so I'll be writing for her later on this week. But anyway, Heather, it was good to meet you. Subscribe to the channel, tell your friends about it, and you know, I support you in everything you're doing. I know that everybody with the Get Wrecked for Recovery crew is going to be praying for you and your ministry, and for all of the successes that you spoke about that you've seen God do. We know it's only God. And so I'm going to sit here and eat my apple fritter and my breakfast pizza, drink my cup of coffee. Thanks again, Heather. And then I'm going to hit the road and try to head to Titusville this morning, and we'll see how far I get. Anyway, love you guys. See you later. Alright, so I pulled off here into the gas station in Scottsmore, Florida. The ride from Oak Hill to Scottsmore, which are between New Smyrna Beach, Florida, and Titusville, Florida, there's nothing. There are no gas stations, no houses, no way to get water, nothing. So here's a pro tip. If you're going to make that ride and it's getting as hot as it is for me, make sure you bring plenty of water for this ride. It's beautiful, untouched part of Florida. Absolutely beautiful. Really good cycle lane. No problems with it at all. I had plenty of water, but I could see where you'd need about 30-40 ounces of water to get through that stretch. Anyway, just wanted to kind of let you guys know where I'm at, and I'm going to keep on cycling. Love you guys. See you later. I think that little guy might be thirsty too. Alright, so I made it to Manatee Hammock Campground in Titusville, Florida. I ended up having to come about 8 miles south of where I want to be to start tomorrow off. I wasn't able to make it to Playa Linda Beach. It would have been 11 miles out to Playa Linda Beach to the beginning of the coast-to-coast bicycle trail, and then back another 11, and then back here, and 30 miles at 4 o'clock after I've already rode for the day in the hot sun was just too much. But what I want to point out is this building right here on the horizon from the campground. That is the Vehicle Assembly Building at Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida. That building is one of the largest buildings ever built, one of the biggest buildings in the world. It has 8 acres of floor space. It is 525 feet high, and it is 518 feet square. And it was actually built for the Saturn V rocket launches that took us to the moon in the late 60s and early 70s. Now this same building was then later used for the space shuttle program that started in the mid to late 80s and then carried on all the way through July 5th, 2011. I actually took my wife, my mother, and my niece to the very last space shuttle launch on July 5th, 2011. So here is the picture of us watching the space shuttle launch of STS-135, the last mission that the space shuttle flew from Cape Canaveral, Florida. We're watching it here from Titusville, and we were so excited when we watched the space shuttle go up from the sights and the sounds that we totally didn't take the picture with the fire and the shuttle in the background. So all you can see here is the vapor trail left behind by the shuttle going up into space. It was definitely a sight and sounds to behold. And so now that we have the Orion program with the SLS rocket that is going to go to Mars, they're using that building again to help with the assembly of that large Earth to Mars rocket. So I thought it was neat that I was down here where I could see that building. I'm actually, tomorrow when I go to Smyrna Beach, I'll be just a few, maybe like 5 miles, maybe less, I'll have to look it up, from the launch pads for Kennedy Space Center. So I'm excited to kind of see how close I'm going to get to that building tomorrow. It sure looks a lot smaller from here than what it is, but man, I've got to be 20 miles from it. Anyway, so yeah, I got the tent set up pretty quickly this evening. The camp is all set up. I talked to Robert Harris, who is a cousin of mine, cousin-in-law, and he actually paid for the campsite tonight. His brothers were the two guys I rode for over the last 2 days. So again, thank you so much, Robert, for providing this campsite for me tonight. God bless you, and I love you, brother. I lived in Orlando growing up, and I remember in kindergarten and first grade going outside into the ball field to watch the space shuttle launch up into the sky. So I actually spent about 7 years in Orlando growing up, and a year in Tampa, and I'll be going through Tampa in the next few days. So I'm kind of excited to see over there. And yeah, I got the tent set up relatively quickly this evening. This campground is actually right here on the inlet. You can see the sun setting behind me, and it is a beautiful little campground out here on the Indian River. And so the Indian River is what separates the Titusville area from the Cape Canaveral area. You may have taken a cruise out of Cape Canaveral. My wife and I, our honeymoon cruise left out of Cape Canaveral. So anyway, a lot of history here for me personally. Another wonderful reason to start out with a Florida bicycle tour. And then, yeah, just a lot of actual history here in this area of the country. From what I'm told, the space shuttle, the reason that they built Kennedy Space Center where they built it is because it's closer to the equator, and they actually gain a boost from the Earth's rotation to get those rockets up into orbit, which I think is neat. Probably something I never would have thought of. But it saves them so many thousands or millions of pounds of fuel to get the rocket up into space by locating the Space Launch Facility down here closer to the equator in the United States of America on the Space Coast. Anyway, I'm going to go over here and take a shower. I'm not going to wash my clothes. I've only got the ones that I had on from yesterday, so I still have a couple pairs of clothes. I don't have to worry about it. I'm not going to spend that extra time doing that. But what I am going to do is spend some time cutting this video for you guys tonight. Anyway, this is probably the last thing I'll say, but you know what it is already. I love you guys, and I'll see you later.